Welcome everybody, Steve here. Well, today's video we are going to start on the box sides for Project Gray. Now these are new box sides and I'm very impressed with them. They're very well built and they use a really nice gauged metal on them, but there's still a lot of work left to get them ready for paint. You know, you just don't pull it out of the box, give it a sand and paint it. We got to make these look good. So that's what this video is about, and thanks for subscribing and enjoy the video. So these are the new box sides for Project Gray, and I'm really impressed. They're heavy duty, like they're heavy. They feel about as heavy as what an original is, so I'm quite impressed. Now we still have to drill some holes in here for our fender, and they've already done these ones, but I think the fenders, they probably don't do it because this would be a kind of a universal one, because Ford used these boxes for a lot of years and even into the 70s. So the spot where the fender bolts in is probably going to be different all the time. So instead of, you know, making one, they just do this and then make you drill holes. But one of the things we have to do is we have to prep these for paint. You just can't throw some primer over top. We're going to prime these ones. The reason I like to, you know, you can just sand these down and go to paint, but if you prime them and you sand them and you find a little dent, well, that's a lot easier fixing it at that stage than if you paint it, find a dent. So I'm going to prime these, but we got to get them prepped. Because if it ain't sanded, it ain't sticking. So there's a lot of little corners in here. So I think the best solution for that is to use the speed sander. So let's go outside and get that done. So we had an old box side, and we basically just cut the side out of it, and then basically you've got it right to the very edge, and basically all you do is set it on top, mark your holes, and you're good to go. Now if you haven't got an extra box side, like this is a luxury because, you know, we've got a lot of these old trucks kicking around here. Get yourself a piece of like 1/8 inch hardboard or something like that, and have it so that it comes right to the very edge, so you can't make that mistake, you know, because each one is different, each side. And that way you just set it on and you mark your holes, drill them, and then you can set it on your new one and you're not going to get it wrong. Templates are everything. You know, you can measure all day long, and it's going to take you a lot longer to measure where all the holes go than it would be to build a template to drill the holes. So that's how we determine how to put the holes in there. Now we just have to hope that the new fenders line up, which I'm pretty confident that they will. So now we can get on to drilling some holes. Now these ones here, even though the metal's new, we still gotta do the body work on either side here, but I want to prime the whole thing. That way, you know, when I'm sanding it out, I know that there's not going to be any dents. So far, everything looks great. That's amazing, you know, these sides come from a long ways away, and I don't see any dents in them at all, so really happy about that, but you never know. These are the bolts that we use to bolt the fenders on with. Flat, and then they've got it's kind of like a carriage bolt, and they've got to just kind of sit in there, so we got to drill a square hole. And I'm going to use my little nibbler there for that. If you saw Project 56 Mark, you saw me using these. Brilliant little tool. Cuts a little square hole. But first of all, we're going to drill them out one size bigger than 5/16. I used to spend more time with the nibbler, and then I went out and bought a square file. It's tapered and allows you just to get in there, slowly work your way up. Perfect. It's a double cut. Perfect. Doesn't take much. Okay, lots more to go. Now we gotta bend these little tabs over. Would have been really nice if they did that before they put it together. As all you do is just, clamp a piece of metal across here and then get a little crisper line. But I don't want to just bend this, because it won't. I'm gonna try and get it as crisp as I can. It's not gonna be perfect. But I got a piece of metal here. This is a 1/4 inch by 1.5, and it fits in there quite nicely. Almost perfect to the edge. So now I've got an edge to bend on. So I'm just going to put that in, clamp it in, and then I have to get some different waste strips. I'm going to clamp it, and then I can tap this down. Be right back. Okay, we don't want to just wail on this thing. Just take your time. And I finish it off with the punch. Looks good. That makes me happy. Just started to work on the front panel for the box. What do they call this? Front gate? I don't know. It's not a gate. It's just a front panel. Anyway, I want to get the holes drilled in here so that I can transfer the holes onto the box side. And I just finished this one up. I'm doing Project 56 Merc at the same time. That way I don't have to think twice. You know, I've got all my holes measured up so I can just do a quick little measure and drill the holes out. Save a bunch of time. So I'll get these all done. Pretty boring. I hate drilling holes. But these ones here on the sides, we're going one size over a quarter, two sizes over a quarter. And on the bottom, for the wood, we'll go two sizes over 5/16. That way we know everything's going to fit. Because last thing you want to do is drill a hole. If you got a 1/4 inch bolt, never drill a 1/4 inch hole. Because that's really hard to get in. You get some paint in there and you end up drilling that hole out. Now you've got a rust issue, you've got other issues, lining issues. Make sure you got your hole just a little bit bigger. Life will go better. Get yourself a good sharp bit. You don't want to center punch this or else you'll dent it. So our front panel bolts onto here. So what we want to do is, off an original, I measured approximately where the holes have to go. It's hard to measure because you're just measuring off of a corner here. So what I'll do is I'll drill them out to 5/16, and then they need to be bigger than 5/16, you know, to allow so that the bolt's going to go in nice and easy. And then I'll put the panel on and then just use a rat tail file and just bring the hole to where I need to go. That way you get it right on the money. I'm bolting this up so I can get a really accurate spot here to drill, because if you just wing it and you're starting to throw your box together and nothing fits, and then you have a real bad day. So we're going to put it together. My pencil, mark our holes. Just like that. So on the back side here, we have to drill some holes here. This is for our tailgate latch. And then these two down here, they're for our tailgate hinge, and also bolts, a piece going across the back of the box. And then on these two, we gotta put a nut on the backside. And that nut's there, you know, it's just gonna make life a lot easier. On the backside, this is where our light bolts up to. So if you have one that's threaded, it just makes the installation a little bit easier. So we're gonna weld a couple nuts on the back there. But first of all, we just gotta transfer our measurements and then put them on here and drill them out. It's a nice thing about having an original piece laying around somewhere. Now these are 1/4 inch. Up at the top here, I don't know if you can see that, where the latch thing goes in, that was 9/16. So I'm just gonna go one size over. In fact, that might be two sizes over. 'Cause once we get our paint on there, and we gotta get our bolt in there, it's always a good idea with these ones that have to go all the way through. Make sure it goes all the way through. This is satin coat here, so I'm just going to use my Dumor here and I'm going to grind off the coating so we got a good surface to weld to. Now I'm using a block nut, so it has no coating on it. I find I just get a way nicer job when I do it that way. Let's bolt her in, and we can tack it. And when we weld this, all we need to do is just put a couple good tacks on either side. We don't need to weld all the way around. Now all we have left to do is just square this hole up here for the latch. It's gonna be hard because I can't really see where it has to go, but we'll get her. We'll get her close here and then we'll use the file. There, helps a bit. Let's get you on a better angle. Can't even find a hole there. Oh, way off. Perfect.